ਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੰਜ਼ਰਵੇਟਿਵ ਕ੍ਰਿਟਿਕ ਫਾਰ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਸੇਫਟੀ ਐਂਡ ਸੋਲਿਸਿਟਰ ਜਨਰਲ MLA ਮੈਕਲਿਨ ਮੈਕਹੋਲ ਸ਼ਾਮਿਲ ਨੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਆਓ ਫਿਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। MLA McCall, welcome to Morning Show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So, MLA McCall, I've read your statement and there's a lot to discuss in the statement. But first off, I would like to know, first, it was defined as not a crisis, and now after some time with with the public opinion, our NDP premier, he mentioned that this is a crisis. What do you have to say? Like, is it a crisis, not a crisis?
Well, I think it is a crisis. I think it has been since the start. I don't think that government should be gaslighting citizens and arguing over if it's a crisis or not. If the public end up feeling that it's concerning, that it is a crisis, I think that's what should be measured, not talking points in a press conference.
And MLA McCall, living in Surrey, because I live here and I've lived here for 25 years, and today it seems like a different country here. Lots of extortion calls. It seems like never ending. Shooting incidents seems like never ending. And then police seems like not doing much about it. So what's your opinion?
Well, it certainly is quite. I mean, I was a police officer for almost 20 years with the RCMP. Didn't work in Surrey my career, but I've never seen something in my policing career to this precedent. Just international crime and extortions in Surrey and going right across the country. We saw what was happening on 2025, and then the new year started, and there was essentially like a shooting every single day. It seems to be going in the wrong direction, not getting better. I think that I think that a big reason why it's progressed. I mean, because this has been happening for quite some time. It didn't just happen over the last couple months. It's been quite a long amount of time this is happening, and people in Surrey were saying there's a concern, there's an issue, what's happening, what's being done, and it took a very long time for this provincial government to take any action, and I think that really set a message to criminals that there's no consequences in British Columbia.
Mm-hmm. And also, MLA McCall, you've mentioned in your statement that Surrey police model, it's a broken model. So what's your thought on that? Like, what is the evidence that made you say that this is not a successful model, this is a broken model?
Well, I think that, one thing is there was a transition happening. The last time I checked, I don't know what it is currently, this is months ago now, there was still, I think, a few areas of Surrey that were still policed by the RCMP as the transition was happening. That's not I mean, that will add more of a challenge, really, I think, when police are actually transitioning and crime like this is happening. It would have been challenging if there would have been an established police force that never transitioned. But the fact that there is movement and there was a transition from the RCMP of the police of jurisdiction to Surrey, I think that as well would have made it more challenging to deal with. I think that that would have made it a little more challenging to deal with.
Mm-hmm. And as we all saw, the public of residents of Surrey, that Surrey Police Board completely failed. They did not address the public. They didn't ask a chief the question they were supposed to ask. So do you think Surrey Police Board has done anything which we could call being responsible, addressing the public, or telling the chief to address the issue?
Well, I think that, ideally you want all facets of policing in your community to operate cohesively and to work well together. If there is an issue in any way there, it does affect kind of I think the service that's being provided. And really, at the end of the day, the public, there's a saying from years ago when they first brought in the kind of modern policing, the police are the people are the police. I think that you absolutely need the public to feel confident in their police and to have that connection and to be able to say, here's my concerns, I have questions. There should be engagement with the public. And, if there is a breakdown in that, I mean, that kind of adds to the problem, I think, and the citizens feeling like it is a crisis because you're not getting any answers. Like there should be more communication from all levels, whether that's the police board or it's the police itself or it's the government. All of those should work together to really solve this issue. If there is any kind of problems in one of those facets, it creates more problems that need to be addressed. And of course, it contributes, I think, to the citizens of Surrey really feeling like who's really in control here.
Mhm. And also, I would like to talk about the limits of mayor's abilities, because every time we've had the mayor of Surrey on our platform, so she would say that this is not her jurisdiction. She can't ask a single question to police chief, and then she
Hmm.
would turn to either provincial government or she has been to Ottawa and then she has told that the meeting was very successful. So, what do you think, like mayor could have or should have done?
Well, I think that your own city police, your own police force, even if it's RCMP or something else, I think the mayor should be able to ask and be. I mean, that's the point. The mayor and council are elected by the people. I think that goes hand in hand as well with having the public kind of asking questions, knowing what's going on. I think that that's important for mayors to be aware. But it's my understanding that the police board, when it was set up that the mayor was not allowed to speak to the police chief, to the police board, and that is a breakdown in communication. Like that shouldn't have been. And then we have the issue, the crisis we're in now. And if you have the mayor, really the municipal government, the provincial and federal should be working together, not taking time that the provincial government had done, not fighting each other. It should be, here's the plan, here's what we're going to do, and I think that if that communication breakdown wasn't happening, if the mayor was perhaps more, and this isn't a critique of the mayor, just it's really what the provincial government brought in with. When they brought in the Surrey police, if the mayor's not allowed to talk to the police chief, that's a problem. I mean, so I think that all of those things together I think they would have contributed to more taking a lot more time to address this than maybe should have. And if the provincial government is taking all of this time and really slow to respond, and quite frankly, I don't think they were nearly as aggressive when this first started than they should have been. But if there's a breakdown in communication, and if the public weren't allowed or really involved in getting updates, I mean, here we are today, and now they're reactionary perhaps to try and fix that. But I think it contributed to a lot of the problem.
Mhm. And also, MLA McCall, we would like to know your point of view. Why it took so long? It took almost more than 1 year to, like, for the government, for the provincial government to address this issue. Because this has been, seems like,
Hmm.
ongoing events, forever, like since ages. So seems like every day, residents of Surrey, they are living under a fear of getting an extortion call or
Hmm.
shooting at their homes or businesses. So why do you
Hmm.
think, NDP didn't address this?
Well, those are very serious crimes, and I think that the NDP government has made it clear to criminals that there are no consequences in BC, and a conservative government would not tolerate this. I think a major point to note is that when you look at the minister's office, now, like, as I said, I had a policing background. The minister didn't have a policing background. Okay, but you would think that the ministry might have police officers to kind of help and kind of tighten things up. So there's some knowledge behind policing. Well, unless something's changed very recently, the policing services within the ministry, there's no one with any policing experience. So you have the police, Surrey Police, the RCMP, that have done this for a long time, that know policing. But then you have government that's their ministry is there to protect people. It's like the number one reason government exists is to protect people. Then you have a ministry that's coming in that they unless something's changed, they have no one that's done police work, that understands police work. So it slows down the response even more so, and perhaps maybe that would be a problem, because how would you realize if it's not in your riding and you're not seeing it with your own eyes? You're relying on reports, you're relying on updates, but how would someone that has no experience running policing in the Ministry of Public Safety in British Columbia know what the next step is, know what's available for police to respond to, know, I can go to Ottawa and ask for this. Like that again, that I think is a major factor in why this ballooned as far as it did, and there was really no action by the government.
So, having policing background and also from a conservative point of view, if you could share your thoughts with us, then how would you improve public safety in short term? What's your conservative approach?
Well, I think that firstly, we need to be far more proactive in our response to crime in British Columbia. The NDP have been in for 10 years, and in those 10 years, they haven't put one extra police officer, not one extra officer in the provincial contingent of the RCMP. And that's important because, all of these support units, these integrated units in the Lower Mainland, those are predominantly all provincial. So there's been no extra funding into the province has just lacked in that. Which I think is the wrong approach. We have a lot of police organizations and units that are really requiring a lot more police. Well, if you haven't put any funding and supported our police in that regard in the last decade, that's a problem. I mean, how much different would policing be in British Columbia if at any time in 10 years there was kind of investment by the province in terms of policing? I also think it's the criminal justice system is the whole machine, and policing is a cog within that machine. I think we need to look at a big factor, which there is some federal component to this. Bill C-75 was brought in, and it is the bill from Ottawa that has made bail the number one thing rather than actually holding people in custody. So we have repeat offenders, we have violent offense, and it just people keep getting released. That needs to end. I mean, the police, you could put all the money in the world, all the investment in policing and criminal justice system across every community and the whole province. But if we're not actually arresting people, we're not holding them in custody, if the punishment does not fit the crime, it's not going to make it, and we're seeing that now. It doesn't really make a change. So I think those would be the most impactful things right now that need to be addressed. And of course, there's a lot more things I think that would be region by region and just really supporting, prioritizing public safety. It's been a total breakdown in this, and we're seeing this with the extortions that are happening in Surrey.
Well, thank you, MLA McCall, and I would definitely look forward to have you back on my show.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. You